Narcissism is on the rise in today's culture, but it's more than just selfies and self-absorbed social media feeds. It's not new, it's just being more widely recognized as we grow in awareness and see the parameters of domestic abuse change. People with narcissistic personality disorder are those who lack empathy, remorse, and the ability to self-reflect and take accountability. They have no conscience in what they do to others and are completely self-serving. They prey on other people as a source of energetic supply. This abuse happens to all genders, by all genders, but today on International Women's Day, I'm addressing women. From the time we're small children, we're shown how to behave and what is acceptable behavior from others. Nice girls don't talk back. Just smile and nod. Takes a better person to walk away. If a boy is mean to you, it means he likes you. Be this, do that, but don't be who you are. Love hurts, but it's worth fighting for. Although well-meaning advice, it conditioned me to spend a lifetime of making other people comfortable at my own expense. I repeated cycles of bad relationships, always seeking the love of another without ever knowing how to love myself. At 38 years old, I had lost my job and had filed for bankruptcy. I was at the lowest point in my life when I met the man who would forever alter who I was. He was unlike anyone I had dated. He was the ultimate bad boy, but was charming and knew all of the right things to say. I was idealized and love-bombed until he knew I was hooked. Then the gaslighting and crazy-making began, leaving me to question my own sanity and reality. My mental health suffered immensely with unbearable anxiety and dark bouts of depression. I became passively suicidal. From the outside looking in, it appeared as though we had a passionate relationship where we couldn't live without one another. On the inside, it was confusing, manipulative, and scary. I was exploited and abused psychologically, physically, emotionally, financially, and sexually. Statistically, the abused will leave their abuser 7 times before realizing they are being abused or become victims of something more tragic. In the span of almost 7 years, I went back 5 times because I thought it was love. Truth is, the abuse had created a separation in my reality. Long-term psychological abuse can cause brain trauma, where one loses memory of events and is always living in hypervigilant survival mode. The trauma bonds the abused to their abuser and creates a physiological addiction to them. This is why it's so difficult to leave and to stay gone. The first question people ask is, why didn't you just leave? My answer? Because I didn't know I was being abused. Narcissistic abuse is like boiling a frog. If you put the frog into boiling water, it will jump out of the pot. But if you slowly turn up the heat over time, the frog will acclimate to its environment and boil to its death. This is how insidious narcissistic abuse is. Statistics show that 1 in 10 people are personality disordered people. Narcissistic personality disorder, psychopaths, sociopaths, and histrionic personality disorder. And each one abuses an average of 5 people in their lifetime. 3.3% of 7.5 billion people is almost 250 million people with antisocial personality disorder. 6% of 7.5 billion is 450 million people with narcissistic personality disorder. That is almost 700 million people who lack empathy or are without a conscience. If each of those people narcissistically abuse just 5 people during their lives, the tally of potential damage affects over 3.4 billion people. This abuse is more common than you think. I was in crisis mode, suffering from complex PTSD with nightmares and flashbacks, and I was in adrenal fatigue. The abuse had left me physically ill. I couldn't eat, sleep, or think. I felt damaged and broken and was unrecognizable to myself. All I wanted was to physically and mentally feel better, and a coach, and yet they knew little of how to heal from this kind of trauma. So all or nothing, I dove into finding ways to heal my body and my brain. I educated myself on personality disorders and abuse. I needed all the tools to heal and continued on with 4 life coaching certifications to get my master's certification. Healing on social media and found a community of it's saving lives. I've turned my pain into purpose, and today I coach survivors of abuse, and there's hope in our story. The abuse forever alters who you are, but so does the healing.